Imagine this. Before the sun even touches the edge of the horizon, there's a silence that feels alive. Not an emptiness, but a pulse, a sacred stillness humming beneath everything. It's the kind of silence that whispers, something is about to change. This is the power of the spoken word, the power that Florence Scovel Shinn called the divine instrument of creation, the power that shapes what we call reality, moment by moment, syllable by syllable. And right now, as you listen, the atmosphere around you is listening too. Because your word is not sound, your word is command. It is energy clothed in vibration, carrying faith or fear, light or shadow, and the universe obeys whichever you choose. Florence said, "You do not receive what you wish for, you receive what you declare." And maybe, until now, you've been wishing, waiting, hoping the outer world would finally shift. But hope alone is not command. Faith, spoken with certainty, is. So breathe, because the moment you speak with faith, you awaken the law that never sleeps. This is the power of the spoken word, not as philosophy, but as vibration, law, life. Florence understood something most people never dare to test. The universe isn't testing you, it's mirroring you. It doesn't speak in luck or logic or delay, it speaks in reflection. And what it reflects most clearly is your inner word. Your word is not only what you say aloud, it's the inner sentence you repeat without noticing. It's the tone beneath your thoughts. It's the sigh between almost and not yet. Maybe you felt it, that quiet frustration, that invisible pause between desire and fulfillment. You visualize, you affirm, you wait, you ask, and still it feels like life stands at the door, half open, half closed. But what if the door isn't locked? What if it's simply waiting for you to speak through it? Because there comes a moment in every seeker's journey when desire turns to decision, and decision, when spoken, becomes decree. So let me ask you now, softly but directly, have you been commanding or merely reacting? Comment now, one phrase you're ready to declare. Your word has already been heard. Florence believed that every word carries a blueprint, invisible, exact, and alive. To her, speaking was never casual. She saw words as seeds, charged with intention, planted in the field of infinite intelligence. And like any seed, once spoken, they must bear fruit. That's why she said, never use your words against yourself. Because the universe takes you at your word, even when you speak in doubt. You see, the law of the spoken word doesn't judge tone, it obeys vibration. If you say, I can't, the law says, as you wish. If you say, I can, it echoes, then so it is. This is not superstition, it's correspondence. Everything begins unseen. The power of the spoken word is the bridge between invisible thought and visible form. Your words are architects, designing tomorrow's experience today. And Florence would remind us, the outer world is not a punishment, it's a mirror. If what you see doesn't match what you desire, don't break the mirror, change the word. There's a rhythm to creation, revelation, reflection, response. Florence called it divine order. She taught that when your inner word aligns with truth, everything rearranges without strain. Money finds its path, health rebuilds itself, love returns through right relationship. Doors that seemed sealed begin to breathe open. But when your word contradicts your faith, life feels like resistance, because it's only reflecting the confusion within. She once said, the game of life is a game of boomerangs. Your thoughts, deeds, and words return to you sooner or later with astounding accuracy. And though she spoke in another century, her message is eternal. Stop chasing change. Speak it. You see, the word speak itself comes from an ancient root meaning to shine, to scatter light. Every time you speak with conviction, you send light into matter. You command vibration to form. You participate in creation. So here's the turning point. Most people speak with their wounds. Few speak with their power. And fewer still speak from their divinity. But you are remembering. You are learning again to let the word rise, not from fear, but from faith, not from logic, but from knowing. And when you do, reality itself softens to listen. Listen carefully now. The power of the spoken word is not about effort. It's about alignment. When your word and your feeling unite, creation becomes effortless. That's why Florence said, "The invisible forces are ever working for man, who is always calling things that be not as though they were." To speak as though it were, that's faith in motion. Faith that doesn't beg, it breathes. Faith that doesn't strain, it stands. Maybe right now, you've been in a season of almost healed, almost free, almost ready. That word, almost, is a spell of delay. It holds you in the waiting room of what could be. But today, the waiting ends, because almost becomes already when spoken from authority. Florence would say, "You are the queen or king of your world. Everything waits for your word." So try this, silently or aloud, but with your whole being. I accept, I receive, I assume. Not later, now. That vibration of present acceptance is the true voice of faith. The universe doesn't respond to calendars, it responds to certainty. Florence didn't teach blind optimism. She taught precision. She said your words are tools, and every careless word is a misused instrument. To speak lack is to sculpt limitation. To speak abundance is to awaken divine supply. To speak love is to call it home. This isn't self-hypnosis, it's spiritual law. The spoken word carves pathways in consciousness, and consciousness commands creation. So the question is no longer, when will it come? The question is, what am I commanding right now? Take a breath, because this moment is the point of creation. Not tomorrow, not after the plan is perfect, now. Let me tell you something Florence understood with unshakable clarity. There is no outer enemy, only inner misalignment. And when you correct that, when you speak from the center of divine order, everything returns to its rightful place. She said, "Fear must be erased from the consciousness before true success can come. And the only solvent for fear is the word of faith. You cannot be both the beggar and the ruler in your own kingdom. Choose your throne, sit in the seat of faith, and speak from there." If your world has felt delayed or disordered, Florence would smile and say, "Change your words, and your world will change itself." Because the power of the spoken word is not passive, it's participatory. It demands that you believe enough to speak what you have not yet seen. Imagine now the air around you thickening with potential, billions of unseen particles waiting for instruction. They don't judge or choose, they simply listen. And they are waiting for your tone. That's what the ritual truly is, 30 seconds of total presence. When your voice, your emotion, your will align in one vibration, the field reorganizes itself. You become conductor, not spectator. You move from, "Why won't it happen?" to, "It is happening." And in that shift, the miraculous begins to feel natural. Synchronicities appear. Peace replaces panic. What once seemed blocked becomes guided. If you feel this stirring inside, it means you're ready. Ready to stop hoping and start declaring. Ready to return to the voice that creates worlds. Florence Scovel Shinn didn't want followers. She wanted creators. She saw every soul as an architect of divine order. She said, "You are not a victim of fate, but a creator of faith." And she lived by her own decrees, simple, steady, spoken with certainty. I look with wonder at that which is before me. I have a wonderful joy in a wonderful way. I give thanks for the immediate manifestation of my good. Each sentence was not a wish. It was a door. And every door she spoke opened. Because this is the secret most people never grasp. The word does not move toward its fulfillment. It is fulfillment, waiting for you to notice. Right now, if you could see what your word looks like in light, you would see threads weaving galaxies around you. You would see particles dancing to the rhythm of your conviction. You would see no empty space, only response. You are not asking, you are activating. And this activation, this remembrance, is what Florence called the law of success. Not success through strain, but through certainty. Because when you speak from alignment, there is no competition, no delay, no doubt, only divine order in motion. We've been taught that creation takes time, but Florence would say creation takes word. Time is just the unfolding of a decree already spoken. That's why your next 30 seconds can reorder an entire future. Not because you're changing the world, but because you're changing the word. The universe doesn't need your effort, it needs your authority. And here's the gentle paradox that Florence loved. When you stop asking and start declaring, peace arrives before proof. That peace is the proof. The vibration of "it is done" always precedes its form. And once that peace settles in your chest, the world begins to rearrange itself to match it. This is the inner law behind every answered prayer, every sudden healing, every door that opens as if by accident. It was never accident. It was word. The power of the spoken word. It's not just what you say, it's what you believe as you say it. It's the calm certainty behind "let there be light," and there is light. In a moment, we'll enter the sacred practice Florence called the ritual of command, a living demonstration of how to speak with divine authority. But before we do, take one breath, one pause, one truth. You were never waiting for permission. You were waiting to remember your power. And you just did. The silence between words is never empty. It's the womb of creation. And right now, in that silence, your next word is forming. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the invisible architecture, the moment before form takes shape, the sacred pause before command becomes creation. So breathe, just once, deeply, not as escape, but as entry. You are entering the temple of the word. Everything that exists, every relationship, every coin, every opportunity, began first as vibration, then as form. And the vibration that creates worlds has always been the same. Certainty. When you speak from certainty, you move from waiting to receiving, from someday to already. And the universe, obedient as breath, rushes to complete the pattern. Because creation is not an event, it is a response. Florence said, there is no separation between the spiritual and the material. The invisible world is the only reality. That means your word, when filled with faith, is more real than the evidence that contradicts it. Every time you say, "I am," you're painting light on the canvas of the unseen. You're deciding what the universe will reflect next. This is why she warned, never attach "I am" to anything you don't wish to eternalize. Never say, "I am tired," "I am broke," "I am unlucky," unless you wish to sculpt that experience into permanence. Instead, speak from truth, not from tension. Say, "I am divine supply and expression. I am guided by infinite intelligence. I am faith clothed in form." These are not affirmations. They are awakenings. Now we enter the ritual. Not a ritual of superstition, but of remembrance. It takes only 30 seconds because God, as Florence knew, moves at the speed of knowing. She called it the ritual of command, and it begins, as all creation begins, with stillness. Close your eyes and imagine that the air around you begins to shimmer, as if the invisible were made visible for a heartbeat. Feel the space respond to your awareness. Every molecule listens. Every field bends to your certainty. Now, in your mind's eye, see yourself seated upon a throne of light, not of ego, but of essence. This throne has waited since before your birth, empty only because you forgot it was yours. You don't need to earn your crown. You need only remember that it fits. Now, repeat within yourself, with quiet authority, not strain, I allow. I receive. I command divine order now. Again, slower. I allow. I receive. I command divine order now. Let the words vibrate through your chest. Feel them echo like bells inside your being. And now the final declaration, the one Florence said opens every locked door. What is mine by divine right comes to me now, in perfect ways, under grace. This is the moment of creation. Not tomorrow, now. Stay here for just a few breaths longer as the new frequency imprints itself upon your field. You are not imagining this, you are authoring it. The scene will follow. When Florence first taught this, she was laughed at. In an age of logic and limitation, her words sounded like rebellion. But time has proven her right. The unseen is the real cause of the seen. Science now whispers what mystics declared long ago. Observation changes reality, and the spoken word, focused observation given sound, is creation in motion. You have just spoken the language of the universe, and it understood you perfectly. Now, don't rush back to the noise of the world. Let this new rhythm breathe through your day. When you speak again, even in small talk, let awareness remain behind each word, because the law of creation never turns off. It listens as you order your reality, moment by moment, sentence by sentence. Florence once said, "Man must prepare for the thing he asked for, when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." She didn't mean prepare through fear. She meant prepare through faith. Faith prepares the room before the guest arrives. Faith sets the table before the feast exists. Faith wears the crown before the kingdom is visible. So live as though your word has already worked, because it has. The vibration is already unfolding into form. The outer world is simply catching up. And here's something subtle, yet life-changing. When you speak, you don't have to feel powerful. You only have to feel present. Presence is power disguised as peace. It's the state where words become alive again. That's why Florence's students noticed, when they spoke her decrees in stillness, not in struggle, results came swiftly and sweetly. She would say, "The moment of release is the moment of fulfillment," because the universe doesn't respond to noise, it responds to knowing. So when you speak your next command, let it rise from quiet confidence, not from force. Let it carry the music of assurance, not the echo of fear. That is mastery. Now imagine walking through your day as one who knows. Every word you speak, a note in the symphony of divine order. Every thought, a quiet ripple of faith. Every breath, an act of participation with infinite intelligence. You no longer hope for alignment, you live from it. You no longer chase miracles, you speak them. Because the power of the spoken word is not about getting, it's about remembering you were never separate from good in the first place. The moment you claim that truth, life reorganizes in your favor. Florence would now, "You have the right to be rich, well, and happy, but you must speak it into being." Her use of rich was never just money. It meant rich in faith, rich in peace, rich in love, the natural state of the soul aligned with its source. So let those words fall into your heart. I am rich in love. I am rich in peace. I am rich in divine supply. Not as request, as remembrance. That is how the soul speaks. And when the soul speaks, the universe bows. If these words are stirring something in you, if you can feel truth waking beneath the surface, you are ready for practice. Join us in the 21-day challenge to create your dream life. It's not about effort, it's about rhythm. It's about speaking your word every day until the unseen becomes seen. The link waits below. Your new rhythm begins there. Florence once said, "There is a perfect plan for each person, and this plan unfolds through right words." Right words. Not many words, not desperate words, but right words. Clear, calm, confident. She taught that right words come from intuition, not intellect, and intuition speaks softly, like guidance from within the heart. When you follow that voice, you live in what she called divine timing, where nothing is late and nothing is lost. Right action, right words, right outcome, all in flow. This is the real law of success. Look back at your life for a moment. See the chapters that felt delayed, the seasons that broke you open. None of it was punishment. It was preparation, the training ground for your authority. Because only one who has tasted silence can respect the weight of a word. You have learned through contrast what creation truly means. You have seen what happens when you speak from fear, and now you will see what happens when you speak from faith. So let's speak once more, together, as Florence would. Say this within yourself, not as a mantra, but as a command from your divine center. I now speak words of power. Every word I speak brings light, peace, and abundance. The universe responds in perfect harmony. I am aligned with divine order now. Feel that. It's not imagination, it's ignition. That vibration moves faster than thought, faster than sound. It reaches the invisible corridors where form is decided. And as you listen, the shift has already begun. The world may still appear unchanged for a moment, but don't mistake silence for absence. The seed works in darkness before it breaks the surface. The delay is not denial, it's gestation. Your decree has been planted. Your word is the seed. Your faith is the sunlight. And everything in divine order must bloom. Florence would end her sessions with a gentle smile and say, "Your word is your wand. Use it to create heaven, not habit." She knew that heaven is not a place, but a perception. And perception changes the moment you speak from love instead of lack. So speak love, speak abundance, speak peace, speak life, and watch as everything that matches your new tone begins to find you. This is not the end of your journey. This is where it becomes real. Because every sound you make from this moment forward carries creative power. You are not repeating Florence's truth. You are embodying it. You are not reading about miracles. You are commanding them. Remember, the power of the spoken word is the bridge between what is invisible and what must be made visible. Your breath is the bridge. Your faith is the force. Your word is the wand, and it is already moving.